Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. College football, 4 games in the bag. A whole week of football coming up. But baseball is still happening every day. Lots of winning opportunities, and we're going to talk betting information on that sport today. Bryan Leonard will be joining us. Kansas City at Cleveland, game 1. He's got a bet for you, as well as Toronto playing Boston. Steve Merril after that. He's going to look at the Astros and the Phillies and the Rays and the Mariners. Andy Lang has a UFC bet for us and an NFL future bet. And Teddy, your big game breakdown, is it happening today? Of course it's happening today. I didn't mean that. Your opening line report, is that happening at 1 p.m. today?
Yeah, every Monday between now and Super Bowl. We will have the opening line report every Monday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, for those of you back east.
Well, there we go. Locked and loaded, ready to rock. Bryan Leonard joining us. How are you, my friend? What's going on over there?
I'm doing very well. Excited for the football season to finally be here, and we'll be talking football in later episodes on this show, but we're going to concentrate on baseball right now. As I've mentioned in the past, when everybody's concentrating on one sport, it opens up ability to make money on another sport. And that's really what is happening with just about all of our baseball handicappers over here at WagerTalk. Everybody seems to be on a pretty good run, including ourselves. So good time to be betting baseball.
Yeah, and there's lots of opportunities this time of the year for baseball, and you've shown it. You're on a run. Steve Merril is on the show a little later. He's won 5 straight, 8 of 9. So people must pay attention to the sport, and especially now. Kansas City, they're playing Cleveland. Bri, you like under 8.5. Tell us why.
Yeah, this is first of a 2-game doubleheader, obviously, today. It's a split doubleheader. But this game starts in about an hour, so I wanted to get this up right now. The Guardians to produce much better this season when facing lefties. They got a 113 WRC+, but they're facing one of the elite southpaws in baseball today, Cole Reagans. This is the first game of the split doubleheader. Nick Sandlin is the opener for Cleveland in the bullpen game. They'll be using their bullpen in this first game today. And as we all know, we talked about it all year, everybody knows the Cleveland bullpen has been terrific this season, so I expect a good outing out of the bullpen. Reagans enters with a 3.31 ERA, 1.15 whip. His whiff rate is in the 93rd percentile, along with an 89th percentile strikeout rate. His last game out, he allowed 4 earned runs in 5 innings against the Angels, but he's been very strong this year after a poor outing. In 4 other games this year, he permitted 4 earned runs or more. He followed that up with a total of 5 earned runs in 24.2 innings. He's bounced back very strong in that regard. And his only start versus the Guardians did not go well, so it's a nice bounce-back situation for him in that regard also, as he gets a little bit revenge on what Cleveland did to him before. Big series between these two. Cleveland right now with a 3-game lead over Kansas City and Minnesota. I mentioned the bullpen for Cleveland. Nick Sandlin going probably the first 2 innings or so for the host. He's in the 94th percentile in the whiff rate, 81st in strikeout rate. And overall, 7 members of the bullpen have not have not pitched 2 of the last 3 days. So they'll be available. So despite this being a long day of baseball with a doubleheader, I think the pitching staff should be fine. It's unlikely that the Royals players will face the same pitcher more than once in this game. That's a big advantage. Usually, if you take a look at baseball, your first time you face a pitcher, you do worse. Next time, a little bit better. Third and fourth times, even better. That works out very well for this under in this game. We can get the under 8.5 minus 120. You can also get under 8 and I believe plus 102. Your choice on that. But I like this game under the total in the first game of the doubleheader.
So let me ask you this, Brian. You talked about Cleveland's success against lefties and the strong WRC plus that they've had against left-handed pitchers this year. You talked about how they smacked Reagans in the first meeting, and yet you're like, no, Cleveland, today's the day they're not going to hit lefties, or Reagans is too good for them to hit or something. Talk about that thought process for me, because it sounds to me like, you have a bullpen game for one team, you have a a team that smashes lefties and has smashed this lefty already this season, I'm missing something. Talk to me about the disconnect.
Well,
What am I missing?
yeah, the point is, and I've said this before, that there, at least anything that I've been able to read, there's no correlation between pitcher and batter over the years. You might see it. The guys say they see it coming out of the pitcher's hand a little bit better, but in reality, there's really no differentials. And the guys that play fantasy baseball and have made money on it know that when you're playing your games and you're playing your strikeout pitchers and that kind of thing, strikeouts and home run props, it doesn't help at all. So what I'm trying to do is equalize what a pitcher is going to do on the season as opposed to what he's done in a small sample size. And one time facing a team means nothing to me. Reagans is an excellent pitcher. In fact, if I was to play game one on a side, I'd prefer the Kansas City side here. So, yeah, I'm looking to the long haul, most stats possible, and that puts me on avoiding pitchers that are hot and betting on pitchers that are due, that have played poorly. Because if you are a pitcher and you're hot, you don't do anything different. You expect the same thing. But if you have not been pitching well and you're a better pitcher than that, I know you're concentrating on these games. You've gone through everything. You're prepared for the next start. That's why I like to play. And usually the lines maker, I can get a better line on that. Most novice bettors just play hot teams and go against bad teams. And that's how they try to play. And the reason why I'm number one in the regular season baseball this year is because I go against the grain, and that's what you should do.
Bryan Leonard, everyone, throwing gems out. Boston has to be pleased that their series against Arizona is in the books. They lost 12-2, 4-1, and 5-7. They are in must-win mode right now. 4.5 games out of a playoff position. They can't afford to continue to lose, and lucky them, they get the Blue Jays. How do we bet this game?
You know, at first glance, you think this line is a bit high for the Red Sox. As you mentioned, they haven't played well as of late. After all, Jose Berrios is on the hill for the visitor. He's got a solid 3.79 ERA, 1.17 whip. But if you look closer, you see why he is installed as a substantial underdog here. First off, his expected ERA is 4.97. That's over a full run higher than his actual ERA, and that puts him in the 13th percentile in that category. He's also in the 14th percentile in expected batting average and 12th percentile in whiff rate. His strikeout percentage is 19.1, the lowest mark since his rookie year in 2016, and he has not pitched well on the road. He owns a 4.91 ERA, 1.28 whip. This is a good hitter's ballpark here in Boston. He's coming off 3 quality starts. This gets back to what I just talked about with Teddy about. He's coming off 3 quality starts, so you're buying high on him. If you're looking to back the Jays here, I look at the entire season. I look at what he's done the last few years. He's a big-name pitcher, but he has not pitched well this year. As opposed to Berrios, Nick Pivetta shows a poor 4.7 ERA on the season, but his expected ERA is 3.94, almost a full run lower. His strikeout percentage is elite in the 89th percentile, along with an 80th percentile extension, 78th percentile walk rate. If you take a look at his strikeout and minus walk rate on the season, and that's how you could tell if a guy is a good pitcher or not. That's what you want. If you're looking for one stat, that's the one I look for. It's at 22.7%. League average is at 17.2%. He's 5.5% better than league average in that regard. So throw out that ERA that he's had on this season, a 4.70. He's a much better pitcher than that. I like Pivetta here, and I think Boston is the way to bet this contest.
So let me ask you this, Brian, because when you talk about Berrios and his numbers all season versus the expected numbers, and Pivetta's numbers all season versus the expected numbers, when you get to the end of August, which is where we're at right now, the guys that have been underachieving, aren't they going to continue to underachieve versus the advanced metric stats? And the guys who are overachieving, can't we believe that they're going to overachieve against the advanced metric stats moving forward? Or do we expect all the regression to come in the next 4 or 5 starts as August rolls into September.
Yeah, it's not always going to come back in one outing or anything like that. But I'm a big believer in the advanced stats. It's worked out for me in hockey. It's worked out for me in baseball. Moneyline sports are a great way to be able to play that. So I understand what you're thinking on that is, but I prefer the advanced stats over the luck of the actual stats. And so anything can happen. I mean, we've seen guys go out there that are the best pitcher in baseball. Well, just look at the Detroit pitcher just a few days ago. Really struggled. Luckily, his team scored a lot of runs, but he's probably going to win the Cy Young Award, and yet he gave up 4 runs or something in 5 innings. It does happen, but I would take a look at his season overall in that regard and being able to bet on him that way. Baseball is just like any other sport. 1 inch away from being a strikeout, the next pitch, the guy gives up a home run. It happens. How many times have we seen that in Major League Baseball? It's a game of inches.
Lots.
And if you watch the games and you look at the advanced stats, I think you know a little bit more than what the box scores show you.
Bryan Leonard joining us. Bri, anything to promote?
Yeah, we've got Customer Appreciation Day today. Everybody's got up a $5 package. I've got a nice $5 underdog going. Swept the board yesterday. 2 underdogs, both underdogs won, including a 5% winner on the Oakland A's in a game that showed a lot of value if you take a look at the advanced stats. So I mentioned number 1 right now, regular season in Major League Baseball. I know Tokyo Brandon and a couple other guys play the preseason, and they make a lot of money in preseason baseball. I don't even play preseason football. I only want to bet on games that mean something, which is why I only do regular season and playoff sports. And it's worked out very well as number 1 in the season in regular season baseball this year, number 3 last year. Let's get on board this package right now and get our big best bet for today. And in fact, football coming up. It's already started. Didn't have anything. Gave out a free play that won the other day, but we'll have our football ready. And we do have a nice 4% play up in college football for this weekend.
Bryan Leonard, outstanding stuff. Okay, Teddy, 1 guest in the bag. Steve Merril still to come. Same with Andy Lang. Lots of betting information still coming your way. Guys, please, if you don't mind, take a second out of your day and hit that like button. Greatly appreciated. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Teddy, it is Customer Appreciation Day at WagerTalk. 1 play for $5. What do you have going for the clients tonight?
I am passing on Monday. That being said, $5 Customer Appreciation Day. You better believe we're locked and loaded. Week 1 NFL. How about the Ravens Chiefs opening night? Get that for $5 right now on my page, wt.buzz/TC.
There we go. Okay, dude. It's time for your 6 Bs.
Let's do it. Let's talk some bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A little recap of what just happened in football betting this past week. And, of course, we got a little college football to talk about today as well. Start with a couple of bad beats. How about Raiders moneyline bettors against the 49ers? Not that there were that many of them, but they're +9, +280, +$3. What happens? A field goal to tie. At least go for 2 in the second half, bro. Really? Yeah, +9. Cashes. +$3 against San Fran, not so much. Tough if you had the Raiders on the money line in that ball game. How about the Bengals? +7, right? They were +2.5. Good value there. You know, the under sitting 34.5, down 36.5. So if you bet Cincy +7 and the under, you know, you're sitting there feeling pretty good. And they score the touchdown that the backers needed, 20-14. There's under 4 to play. Give Indy a first down or 2, take a knee. It'll be Bengals and under or Bengals and push. So what happened? Colts get 1 first down, the 2-minute warning, running to the gut from midfield on first down. What? Since he's calling timeouts, and then another after second down, and now it's third down. A first down ends the game. Nobody scoring if they punt. And, of course, 3rd and 4 from the 40. Demetric Felton for Indy breaks the 40-yard touchdown scamper. The kid out of UCLA. Now he's deciding preseason games, side and total. Tough beat for Cincy backers. Tough beat for underbackers in that ball game. Texans minus 4.5 versus the Rams, 17-9 Houston, late fourth quarter. The Texans are driving in LA territory. They get stuffed on fourth down, no field goal, no points, just enough time for one last LA drive. The offense done nothing all day, and you know how that goes. 17-9 goes to 17-15. Texans final, Houston minus 4.5. No good. Some tough beats over the weekend in preseason action. When it comes to bad bets, let's see. SMU opened minus 21. They closed minus 28 at Nevada. Oops. They only scored 29. They were lucky to win. Part of an 0-4 college football favorites day on Saturday. SMU, they were a bad bet. Montana State, similar story. Opened minus 9, closed minus 13.5 at New Mexico. At least they rallied to win the game. Never sniffed a cover either. They did a 93-yard touchdown run miracle to even have a chance in that contest. Montana State money. That was bad bets. Anyone who bet unders after unders cashed 80% over the first 2 weeks of preseason did not do well. This past week, 11-5 to the over in NFL preseason action. And a bunch of bad bets. Niners +3 up to -9 against the Raiders. We talked about that 24-24 tie. San Fran, bad bet. Cowboys -3 up to -4.5. The Chargers won that game straight up. Trey Lance, an interception machine in that contest. The Steelers -3 to -7 against Detroit. Steelers started and played great. 7-0 with Russell Wilson. Justin Fields in 14-0. And now it's the fourth stringers for Pittsburgh the rest of the way. Detroit is Hendon Hooker scrambling out of the pocket. It was 14-all by halftime. The Lions ended up winning that game. All the Pittsburgh money, bad bets. And, of course, Sunday night, the Patriots from pick all the way up to -6.5/ -7. The Pats offense can't be laying in even a preseason game. They lose outright by double digits. New England money, bad bets. When it comes for bad for the books, look, I use a free play here on WagerTalk Today. Every sharp dollar came on Georgia Tech plus the points. I gave out the Yellow Jackets to you twice this summer. Ramblin' Wreck wins straight up against Florida State in Dublin. That wasn't a good result for the house. In preseason action, Colts took a bunch of money. -2.5 to -7. They beat the Bengals by 10. We talked about that in bad beats. That wasn't good for the books. The Jags bet up to -7.5 against the Falcons. 31-10, 31-0 final in that game. That was bad for the books. The Buccaneers from +1.5 to -3.5 against the Dolphins. They win by double digits. That was bad for the books. The Packers +1 to -2.5 against the Ravens. Not the same old preseason Ravens, boys. We've been talking about all preseason. Green Bay 30-7 blowout. That was bad for the books. The Panthers Bills. This was a disaster for the books. Bad enough, I'm going to ask Art DeCesar about it when we talk to him on Wednesday. Buffalo -4.5 to Carolina -4.5. It's a 9-point move. And then on game day, it bounced back and forth, 4.5, 5, 5.5. Guess where it landed? Carolina wins by exactly 5. That might be the worst possible outcome for a preseason game in recent memory. Again, we'll ask Art about it on Sunday. It certainly was not on Wednesday. It certainly was not a good result for the house. And last but not least, last night, Seattle picked to -5. It happened again. Seahawks win by 4. Tough beat for Seattle backers at the bad number, with the Browns' final touchdowns getting scored with 8 seconds left. Nonetheless, lands in the middle, and most of the bettors were able to cash. That, not a great result for the house either. So there you have it. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. We won't have nearly as many in the NFL when it comes to line moves for week 1 and beyond. Preseason, these line moves all over the place. Some of them win, some of them lose. We just talked about it. Lawrence, there you have it. Back to you, my friend.
Teddy, let's keep this show moving along, baby. Steve Merril joining us. Steve, how are you? How was your weekend?
Hey, it's going well. You know, Teddy's talking football, but I've been focusing on baseball. 5-0 sweep the last 3 days, 10-1 over the past week. I think I'm looking it down, 13-2 the last 15. And Prez, you know it's going well when you're upset about a 13-2 run, because one of those 2 losses was a 2-0 blown lead in the top of the 9th a week ago. Could easily be 14-1. So, Teddy, I put one NFL preseason play, Browns over Vikings a couple weeks ago. I think a lot of sharps are on that. And I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not trying to play the guessing game. And I'm so glad I sat back this preseason, because it was pretty random from what I saw. A lot of the sharp moves don't look like they did too well. And you talked about all those underdogs in college football week 1. I sat out college football week 0, that is. But we're ready to go this week. And huge college football card starting Thursday. And we will have some big best bets this week. But, yeah, Prez, baseball's been going well. I've been picking my spots. And, you know, there's still money to be made on the diamond.
Yes, there is. And way to go on your roll, dude. Kicking ass, 5 straight. Okay, let's focus our attention on Houston. They're playing Philadelphia. How do we bet this game?
Baseball, unlike football and basketball, it's a long grind, 162 games. Basketball is a bit of a grind, but it's definitely not like football. We use a lot of situational analysis when handicapping football, but we don't do so as much with baseball. But one angle we always makes our short list, I think for many cappers on Monday, is to fade that Sunday night ESPN game, whichever teams play. Now, the Orioles are not playing today on Monday, but the Astros are. And this does not look like a good spot for Houston for several reasons. First of all, a big win last night, Sunday Night Baseball at Baltimore. The Astros are pulling away in that AL West. To put things in perspective, this is a Houston team that started the season 7-19, really underachieved. Since then, they've gone 63-41. That's over a 60% win percentage. No team in baseball this year has won 60% of the games overall. So the Astros have really been the best team in baseball over the last 100 games after that slow start. And they're 4.5 ahead in the division. I think they exhale a little bit tonight. And I have no problem backing Dan Alexander's Philadelphia Phillies, 22 games above 500. For most of the season, they were the best team in baseball. I still think they might be. And this is a good situational spot for Philly tonight at home against an Astros team that might be a little bit flat. Money line's about a minus $1.60, $1.65. Once it gets to that range, I usually start looking at the run line, minus 1.5, plus 130. That's actually my official free play tonight, a game that was just a bit outside for making the cut at WagerTalk.com. I've got one strong best bet tonight for $5, special $5 Monday special, and this was the second game on my list, Phillies minus 1.5 run line. So I wanted to give it to everybody free here on Wager Talk TV. Also have no problem backing Zach Wheeler on the mound, and my pitcher projection ratings look for him to have a good outing tonight, giving up only about 2 runs in over 6 innings. Houston's lineup, by the way, has hit just 4 for 24, 167 career against Wheeler. And Ronel Blanco is a guy that vastly overachieved. Even though the Astros were underachieving early, Blanco was overachieving. He got caught for cheating. He's been okay, actually, since. He's definitely been better this season, but I still project him to have an ERA of over 4.7 in this game tonight. So I like the pitching edge, like the situational setup. Phillies either minus 160, 65 money line or minus 1.5 plus 130, I think is the better value on the run line.
Of course, the Phillies with travel as well. They played in Kansas City yesterday. They didn't play at night. But I want to ask you about the Phillies' home field edge at Citizens Bank Ballpark, because there hasn't been much of one lately. It feels like we're laying a price for a team that doesn't have much of a home field edge right now. Prior to the All-Star break, they lose 2 out of 3 to the A's. They come out of the All-Star break, lose a series at home to the Guardians, get swept at home by the Yankees, return home, split a series with Miami. Now last series out, they did beat Washington, but they lose the finale of that game. It's not a team that's playing great baseball at home right now. Is that a factor for you at all? Do we worry about home road splits? Do we worry about teams slumping at home a little bit as we come down the stretch of the MLB campaign?
I don't focus too much on home road splits. And it's interesting that Philly just played Kansas City because the Royals will probably have the most extreme home road dichotomy this year in baseball. And Philly just won both games Saturday and Sunday, as you know there. And by the way, Kansas City, 41 home wins. That's one behind Philly, 42, Dodgers 43. So Philly's still the second most home wins in baseball this season. And the fact they're coming back home, Teddy, without rest, I think this is almost more of a road game. There's not that day off distraction we always talk about after road trips. So it does not concern me tonight. And if anything, maybe we're getting a little bit of value because of it.
Steve Merril. Steve, it's Customer Appreciation Day, $5 for one play. I just put mine up right before the show started. We'll talk about that in a sec. What do you have going for the clients?
Baseball is going well, to say the least. 10-1 the last 11, 13-2 the last 15. Number one over the last 3 days, 5-0 at WagerTalk.com, 8-1 over the past week. And most importantly, longer term, the last 30 days, 28-12 in baseball, up 58 units, number one at WagerTalk.com. Normally, my top play tonight is $25, but you get an instant 80% discount because it is Customer Appreciation Monday, which means my top best bet, a strong steamroller blowout, is just $5 tonight. Just $5 for my strongest baseball play, and I'm on a 10-1, longer term 13-2, and over the past month, 28-12 baseball runs. Hey, if you've been sitting on the sidelines and missing out, shame on you. Get a $5 best bet tonight right now. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. You can get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM.
Steve Merril, awesome stuff. Guys, just to let you know, I've got 2 baseball picks for my clients tonight. I'm going to give them out free at the end of the show if we get to 100 likes. We're at 38 likes right now, so please hit that like button, and I'll give you my 2 client plays for free. Steve, the Rays and the Mariners. Where are we going here, my friend?
So we talked about how the Houston Astros are pulling away in the AL West, and the team they're pulling away from is the Seattle Mariners, a team that led this division for most of the season, despite really being a mediocre squad. And if you look at run differential for the first time this season, their record is weaker than what it should be. And it's been the exact opposite all year. Their record was better than what it should have been. They've been a 500 team all year based on run differential, and now they're 66 and 65. They should be 67 and 64. So the Mariners have lost 7 of their last 10. They're 4.5 out of the division. They're 6.5 out of the wild card. They actually have a better chance of winning the division and catching Houston than getting a wild card spot. And I don't think either one's going to happen, by the way. This team is just 8-12 their last 20. But the Tampa Bay Rays, speaking of the Astros, the other team that started really cold this season was the Tampa Bay Rays, another team that had some bullpen issues after being so strong for year after year. But they haven't really righted the ship all year. They're still 15 and 15 their last 30 over the past month. They're in the very tough AL East on the outside looking in, 11 and a half back in fourth place, 7 back of the wild card. And the Rays are a team that's used to making the playoffs. And these are the type of teams I think you have to be very careful with over the final month of the season, because I'm not going to say they're going to toss the towel, but it's very hard when you've had winning year after year championship seasons, and you kind of know it's over to get up for that month of September. So they're a team I'm looking to fade here in the near future. I think tonight's a decent spot to do it with the Mariners. Seattle's been a much better team at home this year, 12 games up, over 500 at home versus 11 down on the road. That's a 23-game differential home road. They have one of the more pitcher-friendly parks in baseball, and I think their rotation and lineup is built for that. We see a very low total once again at 7. I don't think there'll be many runs here, but I do like the favorite, Seattle, with Miller minus $1.30 or so. Shop around. That's pretty much the consensus line right now. And if you look at Miller's numbers overall this season, 3.3 ERA, but he has been lights out. One of the best pitchers in baseball since early July. Over his last 7 starts, 1.99 ERA. Now, Tampa starter also 2.0 over his last 7, much better than his overall numbers. But I like the situational spot for Seattle here, and I like Bryce Miller on the mound as a short favorite. So we'll look at the Mariners minus $1.30. And big picture, I'd be careful with the Rays here over the next month.
So that's an interesting takeaway from the Rays, because I look at the Rays as saying, wow, this team's dangerous right now. You know, they're 6-2 in their last 8 games. They've been to the this is a team that we expect to be competing for postseason berths, and they're still very much in the mix. Obviously, 7 games out of the final playoff spot right now, but it's not like they're playing sub-500 baseball. They won 6 of their last 8. So talk to me about Tampa and your thought process why this team's a fade versus this team's a bet on, because I'm kind of looking at them the other way.
Well, they've won 6 of their last 8, but they're 1-3 their last 4. They're 9-11 their last 20. So, it depends. We'll see. I think the next week or so, Teddy's going to really tell us what to do with the Rays. If they make a run here and they win like 3 of their next 4, I'd be cautious. But if they do drop, say, 3 of their next 4, then it's over. And that's when I think you really have to be careful. So heading into September, we're going to know if the Rays are still in contention or not. I don't think they will be. And that's when I would say in the month of September, I'd be very careful with Tampa Bay.
Steve Merril, thanks for joining us, brother. Keep kicking ass. I hope your 5-0 run is 7-0, 10-0, 15-0, etc., etc. Teddy covers. Let's get into your big game breakdown.
Big game breakdown. Let's talk some MLB for Customer Appreciation Day, $5 Monday. Again, every capper at WagerTalk.com's got a package up there for just $5. I've got one for the opening night of the NFL season, KC in Baltimore. You get it right now on my page, WT.buzz/TC at WagerTalk.com. You get that play right now for only $5. Let's talk about the White Sox and the Tigers. And look, when it comes to late August, September baseball, I want low-hanging fruit. And fading the White Sox is most assuredly low-hanging fruit. This team's getting worse, not better. You expect bad teams struggle in August, but the manager's already been fired. The trading deadline's already over. The prospects have already been called up. They are what they are. This is a team that opened 3-22. They actually went 11-9 over a 20-game span after that 3-22 start. That's their only positive 20-game stretch of the entire season. That was back in May. They had 4 winning streaks of 2 games or more during that span. Of course, they followed that up with a 2-18 their next 20. But this is a team that was 27-67 on July 10th after beating the Twins. Awful. Since that time, well, they're 31-100 now. That's 4-33 in their last 37 ball games. Home series against the sub 500 Tigers. Chance to win a game or two? No. They've been outscored in this series 27-10 the first 3 games. Every loss coming by 3 runs or more. Lifeless baseball. They had 4 errors yesterday in the blowout loss. All right. Fading the White Sox in this price range is low-hanging fruit, in my opinion. I know why it's so cheap. All right. It's so cheap because the Tigers, A, aren't that good a team, and B, their starting pitcher is someone who doesn't have a whole lot of strong stats in the minor league. We got Madden going today for Detroit, and he's pitched at AA and AAA this year, 3-5 record with a 6.98 ERA in the minors. One of his catchers from the minor leagues, Dylan Dingler, is playing for Detroit right now. His quote, talking about why Madden's numbers are so bad this year, quote, he was just having some troubles locating secondary pitches, and then that overexposed his fastball. Fastball is really good location-wise, and is able to drive down his other pitchers to the optimal location, whether it be cutters up and in, sliders down and away, and splitters down. All right? Ty Hinch. A lot of it with Ty is being able to use his pitches correctly. The splitter has come along, the breaking ball has come along, the fastball is a continued work in progress. It's making adjustments from delivery to usage and a combination of those two. In his last 4 starts, 24 innings, only 5 walks while striking out 37. I'll give him a shot today against a White Sox team that is an easy fade in any reasonable price range. Give me Detroit, -145, -150, the prevailing number. Looking at that WagerTalk free live odds screen. There's your big game breakdown. Lawrence, back to you, my friend.
Teddy, a week ago, to the minute, okay, maybe to the 10 minutes, I suggested that everyone fade the White Sox blindly moving forward. Mm-hmm. I got abused. No, why would you do that? They've lost 23 out of 24. This is a terrible time. They're clearly going to go on some type of correction. Okay, let's move on.
You were right. You were absolutely right in that regard, Lawrence. Good take.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about it, Teddy, is I really let this show breathe. This show is about you, and it's about the experts, and it's about everybody giving incredible betting information. I sit back every show. I don't ask follow-up questions. I just keep the show moving. Sometimes I'm stupid, make dumb remarks, ask softball idiotic questions.
Take the over.
Dude, when I give out betting info, write it freaking down, bro. Not you specifically, but man, there are nuggets inside of this brain. By the way, my hair looks amazing today, Teddy. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are there are nuggets inside that brain. I'm only thinking poop jokes with that.
Lay it on. Give me 2.
That's all we need. It's just a concept.
Andy Lang, what do you think about my hair today, dude? I think I'm having a great freaking hair day.
Looks great. You laugh out loud was when you said, "I just let the show breathe." That's the quote. Yeah. The quote of the day. Well done. Everyone's hair is looking great today. We're all having good hair days.
Nice to have you with us, brother. Adam Thielen, you got a prop bet for us on him, and boy, did that guy watch his career go up in smoke. One quick move. Hopefully his bank account is doing well for that. I never quite understand. If I was a professional athlete, I would Tom Brady it all day long. Give me less money and put me on a winner. With that said, he's on Carolina and going freaking nowhere. What do we do with, you got a prop bet for us on him?
Yeah, it's a low number, but we're going under 3.5 touchdown catches for him this year. It's -135. And you said it, there's just a lot of things to not like about his situation this year. He's 34 years old. That's kind of the big one. That's, getting up there in years for wide receivers. So last year he played all 17 games. So he had all of the health things go his way. He had 137 targets, 103 catches, monster numbers, but only 4 touchdowns. And Bryce Young only threw him 3 of them. Andy Dalton actually had one of them. So this is not a guy that seemed to have a great rapport with Bryce Young. And on top of that, the Panthers only had 13 passing touchdowns the entire season. This is not an offense that has produced a lot of touchdown catches. And now you add Deontay Johnson there. I'm not really sure how involved Adam Thielen's going to be in this offense. So he gets over this 3.5 number last year, but played all 17 games, had 137 targets. I don't see that happening again. 103 receptions. That's a lot. I'm not sure he gets anywhere close to that one, and only 4 touchdowns. So you got a bad team, bad offense, aging wide receiver. Unders are the way to go in this one.
So isn't Carolina going to be better? I mean, don't we expect every stat from the Panthers to be not just better, but a lot better this year? At least a little better. They're not going to be worse, are they? Or are we just looking at this Carolina, with a second-year quarterback? Is there going to be improvement, or is Carolina just, let's start fading them this year just like we faded them last year?
I honestly, it kind of starts with the top down. I mean, this is an organization that just goes through coaches, like Prez goes through cigarettes. So
I don't go through cigarette. What the hell, Andy? That's poisonous. That shit will never enter this temple.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't have any faith in the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, they might improve a little bit.
Okay, let's say they go. You don't have any faith in me not smoking. I was like,
no, I have faith in you. You're good. Okay, so what do they go from 13 to 17 touchdown passes? It's still not a prolific offense, and I just don't think Adam Thielen's going to be that guy. You would hope they would be better, but this Panthers, they haven't shown any signs of being better. I would have to see it to believe it. And the great Kelly Stewart and I have been talking about these wide receiver props. If you took every under on the total touchdowns on wide receivers every year for the last 4 years, the unders would have hit it over 60%. So when you're looking at these, Teddy, you do this too with futures. We're really looking at some of these unders. There's just a lot of things that can go wrong for guys.
Andy Lang joining us. Adam Thielen under 3.5 touchdowns, juiced to the under. Andy, we got UFC. No, it's not UFC. It's MMA, but it's not UFC. And Jake Paul is pretty pissed at Dana that he won't put a John Jones-Ngannou fight on the Tyson card. Not that Dana gives a shit. Ngannou against Ferreira, October 19th. Why are we discussing this fight now?
Because I think you want to get the best number here. This is a super. It's a super card. PFL's putting on this big card. You've got Ngannou versus Ferreira. You got Cyborg is fighting on this one. I do not know what world Francis Ngannou needs to be this big of a favorite. The value is completely on Ferreira. I think Ferreira knocks him out. So Francis Ngannou, he hasn't fought an MMA fight in 2.5 years. So he's in UFC. He becomes champ. He makes it very clear he wants to be paid. Dana White refuses to pay most of his fighters. So Francis leaves, works out a deal with PFL, and works out a deal with boxing. And that's fine. Francis Ngannou is chasing money. He's very open about that. More power to him. But he does these boxing matches. He does this weird one against Fury. Fury pretty much openly didn't train at all for it. And the last time we saw Francis Ngannou in a boxing match, he got knocked out cold by Anthony Joshua. I mean, put on his behind. And now we're expecting Francis Ngannou to be a big favorite against a guy who's won 4 in a row in the PFL, all 4 wins by knockout. And Francis Ngannou's 37 years old, and he's openly chasing money. I actually think the big win for Francis Ngannou is the paycheck for this. That's what he's about these days. Ferreira has the most to win by this. If he gets to knock out a legend like Francis Ngannou, and I just watched Francis Ngannou get knocked out by Anthony Joshua, I think Ferreira puts him away in the first or the second round, and we're getting plus 240 right now. I think the closer we get to this fight, the more people are going to come to the realization, like, why is Francis a minus 300? The line makes no sense. I think you want to lock this one in now.
With that said, from a betting info, great stuff. But as far as chasing money goes, as a 37-year-old, when you're not in a team sport, chase away, Francis. You don't have much opportunity, so you might as well go for it now. And yeah, we could do a whole show about Dana White not paying his fighters correctly. We pay our handicappers correctly, though, Andy. That's for damn sure. What do you got to promote?
No, well, I'm announcing here. I'm forming a WagerTalk union. No, I'm just kidding. What do I
Andy
have to
Lang
promote?
will no longer be with WagerTalk anymore. You can find him at.
Find me on X at. Well, we're just having a magic run. 26-8 all sports in August. We're up 138 units in 2024. 12-4 MMA. I know Ray in the chat room is like, everyone's number one at WagerTalk, so I won't go over all the number ones. Let's just say we're kicking ass. We got a $5 Dana White Contender Series best bet that is up only $5. We had a great week last week in MMA 3-1, including hitting a 5%. So no UFC this weekend, so we got to get our MMA profits in on Tuesday. It's only $5. 12-4 run in MMA. WT.buzz/AL.
There we go, Andy Lang. Brilliant stuff. Guys, it's Customer Appreciation Day at WagerTalk. $5 for a singled out play from each handicapper. Teddy has your Thursday night NFL bet up. It's only $5. My NFL bet is up for week 1 as well. It is a 4% play. I have not had a 4% play in over 2 months of betting. These plays are very, very rare for me. I'm on a 20-6 run in 4% plays. It is a total. It is a prime time game, and it is only $5. So please buy both Teddy and my $5 customer appreciation play over at WagerTalk. Both primetime games, different games, and both should win. Teddy, I asked for 100 likes. I said I would give away both my picks in baseball for today. We did not get to 100 likes. We got to 87, so I'm going to give out one of them. And that, my friend, is the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota Twins on the money line tonight against Atlanta. We got Ober going with the Twins. And Teddy, I love backing this guy at home. 2.78 ERA, 7-3, a record at home when he starts for the Twins. He's won 6 straight in a row. Run differential of 25 runs. And the Twins bats give him run support at home. I don't see this changing. That's where I'm going. Take Ober and the Minnesota Twins on the money line against Atlanta. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow. Great lineup this week, that's for sure. And guys, Gianni is on tomorrow's show. I know he's a fan favorite of everybody's, so I just wanted to give you all a heads up. He'll be doing tomorrow and Friday. He's also the $2 handicapper. Teddy, my brother, it's lunchtime for me. Montreal smoked meat sandwich from Center Street Deli. Take us home.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Monday edition of WagerTalk Today. Lawrence talked about tomorrow's show. I'm going to talk about the NFL opening line report with myself and Joe Ranieri filling in today for Drew Martin, taking the day off. We'll do that at the top of the hour, 15 minutes from now, right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. So between now and that show, 15 minutes. Go find a beverage, hang out. We'll talk to you then. And between now and tomorrow's show here, enjoy the games and good luck with all your bets. Take advantage of $5 Customer Appreciation Day. Cheers.